Yo, what is up, guys? UFC 327, UFC Miami just wrapped up last night, and I'm heartbroken. I'm pissed. I am pissed. That was a perfect card. The card was amazing, all the way up until the main event, where Yuri Prohaska got slimed out bad by a one-legged Carlos Ulberg. Are we serious? Are we freaking serious right now? Honestly, I don't know. I gotta stop putting so much emotional stock into these fighters because watching Yuri get slept like that, I was like, did I seriously just watch that happen? We saw him get knocked out by Alex Pereira, but that was bad. That was worse than the Alex Pereira finishes. That was worse than the Alex Pereira head kick, in my opinion. And the reason it was so bad was because we all thought Yuri Prohaska had that fight in the bag. We all thought that fight was over. Props to Carlos Ulberg. I mean, now everybody's a big Carlos Ulberg fan. We got all the Carlos Ulberg fans coming out of the woodworks. I love the guy. He's the best striker in the life. Shut up. All right, but yeah, I'm done hating on Carlos Ulberg. It was a beautiful left hook. Picture perfect on one leg. The fight starts. Carlos Ulberg pops his leg back. It looked like his ACL. It looked like either his ACL or something in his leg, but it was like one of those leg pops when you watch the NBA guys, like the Kevin Durant ACL tear when his whole leg like popped. That's exactly what happened. You could see some tendon snap when Carlos Ulberg was taking a step back, and he just had no stability from there on. He had no stability on his back leg. He tried to throw a head kick and fell on his butt because his leg was just gone. And honestly, Yuri Prohaska, people were saying that Yuri Prohaska showed him mercy. He did show him a little bit of mercy. That's what Yuri Prohaska said. He was pointing at the cage and like saying, let's fight. But I really just think Yuri Prohaska got caught. He got caught by one of the most perfect left hooks I've ever seen. It looked so clean and so effortless on one leg, catching him while he's coming in. God, it was bad. Literally right on the chin. And watching that happen to my boy Yuri Prohaska is probably my second favorite fighter in the UFC all time, behind Charles Oliveira. Shout out Charles Oliveira. And watching him get put to sleep with a bad left hook, just clipping his chin. Oh, and his whole body was just stiffened on the ground. He ate like 30 follow-up shots. I don't know. I'm not okay. I don't know if I'll ever be okay. I really thought that Yuri Prohaska was going to win that fight. I know that Carlos Ulberg is a clean counter striker. He was going in there with the 14-1 record, riding the huge win streak. Has the knockout power, has the speed, has the counter shots. I didn't think it was going to happen, though. And, sitting here the day after it happened, rewatching it over and over again, I'm still in shock. I'm still depressed. I don't know what's next for the light heavyweight division. We got the Paulo Costa #1 contender versus Carlos Ulberg when he's healthy. Like, what are we doing? Carlos Ulberg probably won't return until end of the year earliest just because of this injury. And for Yuri Prohaska, I don't know what's next for him. He's calling for the rematch, but that was a bad knockout. And the fighting style of Yuri Prohaska, the way he fights, he catches a lot of shots on the chin. And in his previous fights, he's been able to eat those shots and keep going, push the fight to deep waters and ultimately win. But after a bad knockout like that, I don't know. I don't know how the chin will recover of Yuri Prohaska. Fuck you, Carlos Ulberg, for knocking my boy out that bad. That was insane, though. That was insane. We've never seen anything like that before. Like I said, I was watching the fight. Carlos pops his leg. Yuri then starts to point at the ground, and he wasn't showing him mercy, though. He was still kicking at his front leg, and he was still trying to find that knockout. But then as he was coming in, Carlos just caught him with the perfect left hook, put him down, put him to sleep. Literally, as soon as he hit him with that left hook, boom! Boom! It was so quick. And Yuri Prohaska's legs just folded underneath him. And then Carlos Ulberg lands the ground and pound, landed probably 10 ground and pound shots, brutal ground and pound. Flattens Yuri Prochazka, stiffens his body. It was a bad one. It was a bad knockout. Shout out to Carlos Ulberg, though. Moves to 15-1. People were calling him born. I'm not really the biggest fan of Carlos Ulberg. But after a win like that, dude's got a lot of fans now. After becoming the champ, after sleeping Yuri Prochazka, I don't know. I'm pissed. I'm pissed, bro. I'm heartbroken. In that post-fight interview, what are we doing, Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan's always talking about, I don't interview people after they get knocked out. Cut to the fucking Yuri Prochazka. God damn, that almost made me start crying right there and then when Yuri Prochazka was like looking at the mic like, and he was holding it in his hands, saying, "That's what the life is about. We learn," and that's what's gonna happen. We learn, we come back, we overcome. It's a tough fucking sport. It's a brutal sport that we love, MMA, and anything can happen at any moment. Sometimes your boy looks like he's about to get a win. He's got an injured gazelle right in front of him. You're like, this is kind of boring that he won this way, but still, Yuri Prochazka champ. Nah, not exactly. Not exactly the script that we were all reading. Not how it played out. Carlos Ulberg sleeps in bad in round 1. Great story for Carlos Ulberg, though. Like, if you're Carlos Ulberg, come on. Getting injured, staying calm, staying composed, not letting that, he didn't rush the finish at all. He knew that he had to get a finish in round 1 because the longer that fight went on, the more his leg would just get more and more compromised. And he didn't allow that to dictate his game plan. He knew he had to get a finish, but he didn't look like he was rushing. He didn't look like he was out of there at all. Yeah, his leg was compromised, but he still looked calm. He looked patient, and he waited for his time. Boom, found the perfect shot. And shout out Carlos Ulberg. Bad knockout for our boy Yuri Prochazka. Damn, I'm sad. I'm very sad. I'm moving on to the next fight because this card was amazing except for the fucking main event. The literal main event ruined my night. It made me go to bed all sad. But coming on to the co-main event, Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. Oh my gosh. This fight made me very happy. Made me smile from ear to ear. Was very, very happy to watch this fight. I was hoping for the vintage Paulo Costa performance. I wasn't expecting it, and that's exactly what happened. He was calling Azamat a fat Hushin, you fat Hushin. You know nothing about secret Jews. You fat Hushin. He was calling him a fat Hushin all leading up to the fight. Getting in there. Round 1, Paulo Costa looks amazing. Looks so clean. He dropped Azamat in round 1 with a jab. He was landing clean jabs, landing clean strikes, moving around, circling around the outside. I was like, holy shit, Paulo Costa looks great for a light heavyweight. Round 2, they come out there. Azamat kind of starts to get his own game plan going, landing clean shots of his own. He was landing good jabs on Paulo Costa, landing that good left hand. Azamat is a clean striker, and he was the one pressuring Paulo Costa this entire fight. And in round 2, I really believe that Azamat stole the round, really took the momentum in his favor just by landing cleaner shots. Nothing really crazy happened in round 2, but Azamat didn't let round 1 dictate round 2. He came back. I had it 1-1 going into round 3, and then round 3, oh boy, Paulo Costa goes out there and lands a beautiful head kick on Azamat. Azamat blocked it, but it still hurt him. It still broke his arm. I think he looked very, very distraught after that head kick, and Paulo Costa saw that. He started putting it on him. Boom, boom, boom. Paulo Costa knew. I don't know if he knew he had to go out there and get a finish, but that's what he went out there and did. He was like, you know what? I'm finishing this fat Hushin. I'm going out there. Boom, boom, boom. Started landing big combos after that, landing another clean head kick. I think he landed 2 more head kicks, but the one head kick landed very, very clean. Paulo Costa has a great head kick. And Azamat, eats it and then kind of just crumbles to the ground. He's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm done. feels the pressure of the eraser Paulo Costa, falls on the ground. Afterwards, Paulo Costa jumps over the fence and starts talking to Donald Trump. Yo, like, come on, bro. I get it. Donald Trump's the president and shit, but I don't even care. I don't care, bro. I don't care. Showing him 100 times, having all the fucking, oh, let's see the post-fight fighter talking to Donald Trump moment. No, I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't give a fuck. Stop showing Donald Trump on the fucking broadcast. They showed Donald Trump more than the fucking fighters walking out. Like, what are we doing? They showed the full Donald Trump walkout. They did that for sure. But, yeah, I don't know. That kind of was pissing me off watching the event. Just like, they show off, like, I hate when they pan the camera to somebody in the crowd and it's like some random old dude in a suit. And they're like, this guy's the leader of the FBI. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I get it. You know, they run the fucking, they run America, but still, we don't got to show them off at the fucking UFC events. Still, though, great win from Paulo Costa. After his win, went over, started saying, oh, I love you, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I love you, man. I love you, man. Come on, bro. What are we doing? Yeah, but great win for Paulo Costa. I love to see it. Moves to now the number 1 contender in the light heavyweight division. We're at that point now in our lives where Paulo Costa is going to be fighting Carlos Ulberg. Honestly, I think that Paulo Costa is probably going to get one more before the Carlos Ulberg return. I see him maybe fighting. I'm not sure. I don't see him fighting. A Khalil Roundtree or a Jamal Hill. I don't see him fighting any of those people because I don't think any of them deserve a title shot. I really think if they're going to make a big fight, they might do Paulo versus Ankh, which would suck to be Paulo because getting two Russians back to back and going from Azamat to 16-0 to Ankh, like, come on, what are we doing? But I seriously think if they're going to make a fight in between that time, that's what they're going to do just because the winner of that will fight Ulberg for the title. But yeah, great win for Paulo Costa. Shout out to Paulo Costa. Shout out to Donald Trump. And I love to see it. You love to see it. You know, he kind of did have to shout out Donald Trump after putting away a Hushin like that, you know. You know Donald Trump loved to see that. Okay, coming on to our feature fight. Guys, this fight might have been the greatest fight of all time. Josh Hokic versus Curtis Blades. Josh Hokic wins fight of the night and performance of the night. He deserves it. He deserves the $200K. One of the greatest fights, probably the greatest heavyweight fight I've ever seen in my entire life. A war, a scrap. Josh Hokic goes out there and looks like prime Cain Velasquez out there. Round 1 starts, brings the pressure immediately, starts throwing big shots at Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades eats a couple shots. Nothing too crazy. This is literally all in like the first 5, 6, 7 seconds. Curtis Blades grabs a single leg, tries to take Josh Hokic down. Josh Hokic ends up slipping his leg out, hits him with the middle finger. I was like, yo, come on, this is awesome. Everybody was hating on Josh Hokic heading into this fight. I kind of like him. I kind of like the dude. You don't see anybody at all with any personality. 0 people. And Josh Hokic has 3 of them. And I think, you know, it's a little cringy, yeah. He doesn't really know what he's saying. Sometimes when he says stuff, it is very cringy. But still, I love this dude. Became a fan of Josh. I think a lot of people became a fan of Josh Hokic after this fight. But before leading into this fight, I was kind of a fan of Josh Hokic. And I was literally nervous. I was like, this is bad. I kind of had this feeling that Josh Hokic was going to go out there and put away Curtis Blades. I know Curtis Blades is a very, very top level heavyweight. Probably, yeah, right at that 5 level heavyweight right now. But I was nervous. I was getting this weird feeling that Josh Hokic was going to go out there and slime out our boy. And that almost happened. He slips the single leg, gives him the middle finger, and then just starts scrapping with Curtis Blades. And the speed of Josh Hokic has very, very fast hands for a heavyweight. Curtis Blades was landing, though, on his own. That's why this fight was amazing. Josh Hokic goes, boom, 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 starts landing big shots. Curtis Blades, boom, boom, picking him back at him with the jab. Josh Hokic, though, hits him with a big overhand over the jab of Curtis Blades. hurts Curtis Blades bad. Almost drops him, kind of like drops into his hands. Curtis Blades ends up getting back up though, recovering, staying in it. Josh Hokic is still looking for the finish. Every time Josh Hokic was right about to get in there and start putting away Curtis Blades, start to land big shots, Curtis Blades would boom, hit him with a big jab. And Josh Hokic gets stunned by it, get hit by the big jab. Later on in round 1, Curtis Blades hurts Josh Hokic on his own, starts landing big shots, big elbows in the clinch, big power shots. Josh Hokic is hurt so bad he's up against the fence. Curtis Blades is trying to finish him, just literally throwing the whole gas tank at him, which just hooks up against the fence. Everybody's going crazy. Josh Hokic comes back though, lands shots of his own. That was literally the story of this fight. Back and forth, back and forth. Josh Hokic landing big shots. Curtis Blades not getting finished though, landing shots of his own. At the end of round 1, Curtis Blades, boom, 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 landing a big combo, knocks out the mouthpiece of Josh Hokic. Josh Hokic, literally every time they would have a big exchange or a big combo, not every time, but there was like 3 or 4 times Josh Hokic they would be scrapping, hitting each other with big power shots. Both of them would get rocked, and then Josh Hokic would look at him and go, hit him with the middle finger. I loved it. This fight, I was literally jumping up and down like a little schoolgirl. I thought this fight was amazing. I'm glad that Curtis Blades didn't get knocked out early in round 1. I'm glad that he went out there and had a scrap, a war. There's no shame in Curtis Blades, honestly. Taking on Rizvan Kuniev in his debut, taking on Josh Hokic in his second fight in the UFC. Give the props to Curtis Blades. Putting on a fight like that. I've always been a big Curtis Blades fan. I think he gets a lot of hate, undeserved hate, you know. I get it. He has a stutter. He does have a wrestling style, but still, I love this guy. Very, very lovable guy. And after that fight, I think a lot of more people are giving Curtis Blades the respect he deserves. Because holy smokes, that was a banger fight. Banger fight. Curtis Blades was having his moments. Every time, though, Curtis Blades would have his moments with the success, land big jabs, Josh Hokic would just eat him. There was a couple times Josh Hokic would get stunned, would get stumbled. In round 1, that was the time where he almost got finished. He was hurt really, really bad. And there was a couple times where he almost got the mouthpiece knocked out of him again. But Josh Hokic, though, the story of this fight, the speed, the combos of Josh Hokic. Josh Hokic never backed up, kept the forward pressure in the face of Curtis Blades throughout all 3 rounds. This fight was a war for 3 rounds, 15 minutes. I'm surprised that they kept up this pace for a heavyweight fight. Heavyweights, take note. Seriously, take note. If you're a heavyweight fighter, watch that fight, and if you could fight 5% like they did in that fight, we'll be happy. We'll be happy. We'll be satisfied, because that is how you should fight. The greatest heavyweight fight I've seen. If you weren't there to watch it live, you have to watch it back. Josh Hokic is now fighting Derek Lewis at the White House. Donald Trump was like, "Get it? Why is Derek Lewis not on the White House?" Terrible Donald Trump impression. But yeah, I don't know. Donald Trump loves Derek Lewis because he knocked out that one Hush in that one time. Shout out. You remember that? But yeah, they're having Josh Hokic versus Derek Lewis, which honestly I couldn't really care for. I could see Derek Lewis, sleeping him, but I don't think that's happening. I think Josh Hokic's going to be a little too quick for him, a little too fast. I love Josh Hokic, though. I'm a big fan of Josh Hokic. I felt bad for Curtis Blades, but honestly, I don't think Curtis Blades loses any stock in a fight like that. In a fight like that, I think he only gains stock. He might lose his ranking spot. Josh Hokic does move now to number 5 in the heavyweight division. And Curtis Blades probably moves to 6 or 7 or right under that 5 rank. But still, I don't think Curtis Blades loses any stock. And for Josh Hokic, a star on the rise. A star on the rise after a performance like that. The way he talks on the mic, his post-fight speech. Before the fight, during the fight, and after the fight, if you perform like that, like, come on. You're going to gain some fans. I'm a fan of Josh Hokic. And that's the thing. You either want to see him win or you want to see him lose. Either way, you're going to watch him fight. So, shout out Josh Hokic. I think that, if you're a UFC fighter, take a little bit of Josh Hokic's book. Maybe create an alter ego. Maybe create an alter personality. My favorite's Josh, where he's all scared and nervous and trying to flirt with Lorsenko. Okay, either way, guys, coming on to this fight. Come on. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time on this fight. Johnny Walker versus Dom Reyes. This fight stunk up the card. This is the worst fight on the card. If this fight ended in a quick knockout, the card would have been a perfect 10 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10 because of that main event. But yeah, this fight was terrible. Neither of these dudes went out there and looked like they had any urgency of finishing the fight. A lot of leg kicks from distance, a lot of, moving around, circling around. I think that both these dudes knew that, hey, I might get knocked out. So let's just not knock each other out. Let's just circle around. Let's just have a little jab, little leg kick fest. Nothing really happened in this fight. Literally nothing happened. Boring fight. That's all I got to say. Shout out Dom Reyes. I think that Dom Reyes moving on. I don't know what's next for him. Might get slammed out in his next fight if they give him a tough opponent, but I don't know. Yeah, this fight was tough. This fight was tough to watch. Shout out Dom Reyes, though. I'm a fan of Dom Reyes. Okay, guys, coming on to our next fight. Oh, boy. The Cub Swanson retirement fight. Oh, man. I'm going to start crying right here and now. That shit was emotional, bro. That shit was literally picture perfect. We all love the Robbie Lawler retirement, and Cub Swanson does the exact same thing. It looks even cleaner than Robbie Lawler in his retirement fight. Looked so clean in there. So clean, so fast. Tagged up Nate Landwehr. Boom, boom, boom. Landing the signature Cub Swanson combos. Ends the fight with almost walk-off KO, but hits him with a big boom right hand. Puts Nate Landwehr down. Finishes the fight in round 1. Just the best way to see Cub Swanson end his career. Shout out to Cub Swanson. I love Cub Swanson. And at the age of 42, he's been fighting now for over, I think, 20 years. He started his career back in the day, back in the 2000s. He fought in the WEC. This dude's been around for a minute. And he's still able to go out there and compete with these young dogs, style on these young dogs, and put them away. We all remember the Billy Quarantino fight. That was a banger performance. Boom, boom. Banger. Walk-off KO. And to end his career like this with the Nate Landwehr walk-off, or almost walk-off, but Nate Landwehr round 1 KO. Having his family there, that was so sweet to see. Having his wife and his kids all in the cage. Watching his retirement video. His kids all got the glasses like Cub Swanson, bros. It was emotional. I was very, very... This card had me in all sorts of places, dude. All sorts of emotional highs, emotional lows. Yeah, that's what this sport does to you, though. That's what it does to you. Let me wipe my tears away. Coming on to the next fight. The Bellator Championship fight. Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Now, before this fight, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you follow my Instagram or my TikTok. I make before the UFC edits a lot of the time before events. And I made one for Pitbull and I made one for Pico. And everybody was shitting on Pico in the they're like, before the UFC, that's funny. Roll the clips of him getting knocked out. I'm like, shut up, guys, listen. I get it. He's been knocked out brutally a couple times. He got knocked out brutally against Lerone Murphy. But in this fight against Pitbull, holy smokes. Aaron Pico goes out there and turns all the doubters, all the naysayers, not all of them, because still, we don't know how good that chin is, but still. He goes out there and turns a little bit of them back on his side with the performance that he had against Patricio Pitbull, landing clean boxing combos throughout all 3 rounds. Shout out to the chin of Patricio Pitbull. Patricio ate all of those shots. Yeah, but Pitbull did get dropped, but he didn't get finished in that fight, but boom. But the power of Aaron Pico, the power and speed, the boxing combos, jeez. This guy is good. Patient Aaron Pico, if we could get patient Pico in all of his fights in the UFC, he might be a very, very dangerous guy. He came in there with the game plan to box the head off of Patricio Pitbull. As soon as he would land big combos, boom, then he would shoot a takedown. And he wasn't always getting the takedowns, but it was just making Pitbull think about something. Think about, oh snap, I'm not only worried about the boxing, I also got to be worried about the takedown. And Pico styled on him. Pico styled on him, didn't get hit with anything of real success in that fight. There was a couple times where Pitbull would land, a couple clean shots, but it didn't hurt Aaron Pico. People are saying that Pico has a glass chin. We'll see though. We'll see what happens. I could see him get knocked out brutally again sometime in his career, because once you've been knocked out brutally, I think this is the third, not the third time. The third time was against Lerone Murphy, but he's been knocked out 3 times brutally. So, yeah, it's not a good look. But last night was a good look for our boy Aaron Pico. Shout out Aaron Pico. I don't know what's next for him. Looks like a dangerous guy though. Looks very, very dangerous. He's always looked dangerous in the fights that he wins. So we'll see. We'll see if he can keep this momentum going. Great win though. Great win for Aaron Pico. Coming on to our next fight, another great win. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Now, shout out to Kevin Holland. This dude, bro, Kevin Holland, great win. Great win. Goes out there and looks good. Randy Brown actually was looking good too. Looking clean round 1. Randy Brown was looking real, real good. Yeah, so round 1, they both go out there. Kevin Holland looked good. Circling on the back foot, circling around the cage, landing clean shots. Randy Brown wasn't looking terrible either. At the end of round 1, Kevin Holland secures a takedown. I had round 1 going to Kevin Holland. Nothing really crazy happened. Round 2, kind of the same story. Kevin Holland was landing the cleaner shots, though. Landing the cleaner shots, landing the better shots. Randy Brown was chasing Kevin Holland this fight and just wasn't looking as clean as I thought he would. Randy Brown's a very, very good kickboxer, but he wasn't able to catch Kevin Holland. And in round 3, Kevin Holland was able to get that Doris stand. He got like a standing Doris or anaconda choke, and he took Randy Brown to the ground. Shout out to Randy Brown for not tapping, though. He had him in that deep anaconda, had his leg tied up, had both of his legs tied up at one point, and Randy Brown did not tap, though. Randy Brown did not tap. The fight ends up going to a decision. But yeah, Kevin Holland wins the unanimous decision. Randy Brown he didn't even look terrible. I think this is just a tough fight to take. We'll see what's next for Kevin Holland. After the fight, bro, I've been seeing all these clips of Kevin Holland like shitting on all the reporters for asking the same question, which that shit makes me nervous, because what if I'm asking Kevin Holland a question one day and he just starts whipping my ass, bro? So, yeah, I don't know what Kevin Holland's deal is. He got a win. He should be happy, but yeah, Kevin Holland's a weird guy. Moves back to the win column after the 2-fight losing streak. Back in the win column. We'll see what's next for Kevin Holland. I think he's going to stay at welterweight, but yeah, I think he moves now to 29-15. So, yeah, we all know Kevin Holland's not going to make a title run anytime soon. Good win, though. Good win for Kevin Holland. Shout out. Speaking of good wins, coming on to our next fight. Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. I knew this was going to happen. I was very bad with my picks this card. Sorry for the guys that I gave my picks to. I picked JIRI. I picked Azamat. God, man, I'm sorry. I was doing good with the picks until this card. I'll come back. Next fight card, don't worry about it. But this fight, I got this fight right. I knew this was going to happen. I knew that Mateusz Gamrot was going to be a little bit too much for Esteban Ribovic. A little bit too much this early in his career. And I'm pretty sure I picked the round 2 submission. Somebody fact check me on that. I'm not sure. Go look back at the prediction video. But yeah, I knew Mateusz Gamrot was going to be too much, and he exactly was. Too much with the grappling. Esteban, he's just young, man. He's just young, and bro, the grappling is tough when you're fighting Mateusz Gamrot, a proven dog in this sport. A dude who's only lost to the best, only lost to the top level lightweights. And Mateusz Gamrot goes out there and gets the second round submission. Looks amazing. Uses his grappling to dictate the fight. Uses his grappling to dictate the pace. Look good on the feet as well. Yeah. Gets the round 2 arm triangle submission win. Shout out to Mateusz Gamrot. Great win. Great win. Proves that he is still at that top level. And yeah, he called out Diego Lopez after the fight. I don't know. Great call out, bro. Great call out for Diego Lopez. He's like, Diego Lopez, if you want to move up. But yeah, whatever. Shout out Mateusz Gamrot. Esteban Ribovic, I don't know. I don't think that he's at that level yet to compete with the top level lightweight. So I think he needs to get a bounce back fight. They gave him number 8, Matush Gamrot, and he wasn't even ranked. So, yeah, I just think he needs to take some time. He's good. He's a good fighter. He has a lot of potential. I just think he needs to build himself slowly in this sport, not give him Matush Gamrot this early on. I don't know. But, yeah, shout out Matush Gamrot. Great win. I don't know what's next for him. I don't think it's going to be Diego Lopez. But, yeah. All right, coming on to our next fight, the women's strawweight bout. Tatiana Suarez versus Luby Godinez. I got this fight right, too. I didn't think that Tatiana Suarez was going to go out there and sub her like that, though. Shout out to Tatiana Suarez. Shout out the grappling of Tatiana Suarez. Very, very dominant. Holy smokes. Training with Patchy Mix has really paid off. The training partner, Patchy Mix partner. This girl's good. This girl's good. She's got great grappling. And goes out there, dominates Luby Godinez with her grappling. Round 2, gets her down, and finds the back, gets the round 2 submission. She was very hyped after that win, too. I would be. Tatiana now moves to 13-1. Very, very good record. Her only loss being to Zhang Wei Li. Honestly, I could see Tatiana getting a title shot very, very soon. If not after that performance, maybe one more. But yeah, I could see her fighting Mackenzie Dern sometime very, very soon. People like Tatiana Suarez. And after a finish like that, with the record like that she has, being able to dominate the women that she has, shout out to Tatiana Suarez. Shout out to her. Great finish, great win. We'd love to see it. Now, next fight, Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. This was a decent fight. This was a banger, a scrap, a 3-round scrap. This fight ultimately went to a draw, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure this is the one that was... They called it to Chris Padilla, and then it got drawn back to a majority draw. So, weird decision. Weird decision. I could have seen it being a draw, though. I get why they did that. It was a very, very close fight. Chris Padilla the entire time was moving forward with his pressure, looking to land big shots on Markel Medeiros. But Markel Medeiros was looking clean. Looking very, very clean. Landing the counter shots on the back foot. Landing good kicks. Landing good shots of his own. I could have seen why you could have given the fight to either guy. But yeah, having it a draw, I guess, I guess. I had Chris Padilla. Honestly, I don't even know who I had winning this fight. I had Chris Padilla winning round 1 just for the power shots, but you could have gave it to Markel Medeiros. Markel Medeiros was landing clean shots throughout all of round 1, throughout all of round 2, throughout all of round 3, landing good, clean counter shots on the back foot. I was really surprised with Markel Medeiros. He looked good, man. He looked good. Chris Padilla, though, was the one with the forward pressure, landing good shots of his own, eating the shots of Markel Medeiros. The only reason I have it going to Chris Padilla was he was the one with the forward pressure, kind of pushing the pace. And Markel Medeiros, the reason you could give it to him was he was the one landing the cleaner shots. So the judges couldn't figure it out. They were like, let's just give it to both of them. I mean, let's just give it to neither of them. Fuck it. Let's make it a draw, bro. Fuck it. I wonder what happens. Yeah, I wonder if they get their win bonus if they get a draw. I don't know. Okay, guys, going on to the next fight. This fight, holy shit. Shout out to Vicente Luque. Mr. Wide-Body Kelvin Gastelum goes out there and gets put away in round 1 by Vicente Luque. Now, as soon as they were announcing these two fighters, I was kind of thinking in my head, I was like, you know what? I know I picked Kelvin Gastelum, but I really think Vicente Luque is the way more dangerous fighter. This guy is dangerous. And as I'm thinking that, I remember to myself, wait a minute. This is Vicente Luque. I'm talking about the same dude who's been finished. The same dude that just moved up to middleweight because he kept getting finished at 170. But yeah, I seriously thought that Vicente Luque was dangerous going in there. And he goes in there and puts Kelvin Gastelum down with a big uppercut in round 1, sits Kelvin down, puts him on his butt, and then finds the Anaconda choke. He ends up finding the round 1 Anaconda choke, sits him down with the big uppercut, finds the choke, puts Kelvin Gastelum away. Great finish. Great finish for Vicente Luque. Do I think he's got to have a future title run at middleweight? No, I don't. I think he's way too old. I think he's a little bit too small. A little bit too small. This Kelvin Gastelum win's a great win, but yeah, I think Kelvin Gastelum's an undersized middleweight as well. So we'll see what the next fight is for Vicente Luque, but you can't match him up with a huge dude, but that's all there is at middleweight is big guys, big, heavy hitters. We'll see, though. Great win for Vicente Luque. Vintage Vicente Luque puts Kelvin down, subs him, round 1. Great to see. Great to see. Coming on to the first fight of the night, Charles Radtke versus Francisco Prado. This fight was a scrap, too. Shout out to Charles Radtke. Shout out to Francisco Prado. A great fight from the two guys. Charles Radtke goes out there and just dominates, though. Dominates for majority of the fight. Looks good. Francisco Prado, there was a couple times where, he was looking, not looking, I would say he's looking good, but he was the one that was looking to land big shots. He comes out round 1 looking to land big shots, keeping the forward pressure on Charles Radtke. He landed a couple clean shots, but Charles Radtke ends up using his grappling, using it to take down Francisco Prado, control him on the ground. He got the back of Francisco Prado at some point in this fight, and he was controlling him, using his wrist control to get Francisco Prado kept trying to get up, and Charles Radtke just kept hitting him with the 2-on-1 wrist control and hitting him back to the ground. I thought that shit was funny. But yeah, shout out to Charles Radtke, a dominant win. Round 3 though, Francisco Prado did catch him in a tight guillotine, but I thought maybe he could finish it. Charles Radtke stays composed, though. Gets his legs out. It was tight. It was a tight guillotine. Very, very tight. Charles Radtke slips his legs out, though. Ends up slipping his head out. Wins the unanimous decision. That was the only point in the fight where Francisco Prado had any success, really. Just a dominant win for Charles Radtke. Uses his grappling. Uses his range. I think Charles Radtke could have a good future at welterweight. He has very, very good grappling for welterweight. I want to see what's next for him. I think that he has had a tough run of opponents, getting Mike Malott, getting Carlos Prates. But yeah, bouncing back. Yeah, but he has now moved to a 2-fight winning streak with this win over Francisco Prado. Great win for Charles Radtke. And he said the word. He said the word. He said the Charles Radtke word in his post-fight interview. We didn't expect it on Paramount Plus. I'm sure Dana White was very happy with that. The commentators were very pissed after he said it. He can't help himself. He just can't help himself. It's just part of his vocabulary. It's what happens, But yeah, shout out Charles Radtke. Shout out to this card. Great card. I give it a 9 out of 10. I give it an 8.8, 8.9 out of 10. The only reason that it has that asterisk is because of Johnny Walker, Dom Reyes, and because of Yuri Prochazka, bro. God, man, I'm still... Because, that's the thing. I love this dude, Yuri Prochazka. I got a little backstory behind me. I got in the UFC not too long ago, kind of back when Charles Oliveira was having his title run, back when Israel Adesanya was having his title run. And Yuri Prochazka was one of those guys, too. Watching his fights, just something about it, man. Something about him, something about his energy, man. The way he fights. I love it. I love it, man. I love the samurai shtick. I love that he's a little bit autistic. I love that he eats a lot of punches. And watching him get slammed out like that, man, it hurts. It hurts, dude, because that's the thing. If you're a fan of Yuri Prochazka, you know it's gonna happen. You know that it always has the possibility of happening. The way he fights, it's just it's just bound to happen at some point. And that's exactly what happened against Carlos Ulberg. The one-legged black jaguar on one leg. Come on, bro. Great win for Carlos Ulberg. Way to get it done. Shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to this card. UFC Miami 327 was a banger card. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Except for that main event. Very, very sad way to end the card. But yeah, shout out to UFC Miami. Shout out to you guys for watching. I'll be making sure to make a recap video, not a recap video, prediction video for the next card coming out. Stay tuned for the Prospect Watch every Friday, guys. Every Friday, Prospect Watch is dropping. Yeah. And don't forget to watch Connor Leonard's fighting this weekend. Sam Bailey's fighting this weekend on LFA. 2 of the prospects. Shout out to those guys. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, though. I'm out. Peace.